Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Uptown Consortium's virtual event. Today's presentation is part of our ongoing virtual event series, an effort to engage and support the Uptown community by providing valuable information and resources amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you all for joining us. For today's discussion, we've partnered with the Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky African American Chamber of Commerce, Minority Business Assistance Center, and Gilead Sanders, a strategy and innovation consulting firm. Deborah Davis, Regional MBAC Director, will discuss the different programs and services available to minority and women-owned businesses through the African American Chamber and MBAC. And Marvin Dejean, Senior Managing Partner of Gilead Sanders, will present on the big pivot, Reinventing Your Business Model in a Digital World. I'd like to take a moment to introduce our guests before we get started today. Deborah Davis has held the position of Regional Director of the Minority Business Assistance Center at the Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky African American Chamber of Commerce, that's a long name, for over 4 years. In her role, she helps Ohio small, minority-owned, and socially and economically disadvantaged businesses with state certifications, government contract opportunities, and business growth and development. Davis is also the host of the Resource Network, a weekly podcast radio show which is broadcasted locally and worldwide. Thank you for joining us, Deborah.
Thank you.
Marvin Dejean is a leading business futurist, organizational strategist, and an unapologetic evangelist for innovation-driven solutions to corporate and social challenges. As the Senior Managing Partner of Gilead Sanders, LLC, he spends his time helping organizations and individuals take the quantum leap into the 21st century digital marketplace. Marvin is setting a new standard for how businesses, nonprofits, and governmental agencies ignite human capital, access leadership agility, and drive team performance, leading them in tackling some of their most pressing challenges in a rapidly changing world. Marvin is also the author of the forthcoming book, The Big Pivot, Transforming Your Business into a 21st Century Digital Powerhouse. He specializes on the topics of digital transformation, business innovation, and reinventing business models for the 21st century, which we will hear more on this evening. To start off tonight, we will have Deborah present on some of the topics and programs and services that the Minority Business Accelerator Assistance Center offers, as well as the African American Chamber. So Deborah, if you want to go ahead, you can kick us off tonight.
Okay, thank you so much for having me tonight, Brooke. I truly appreciate this. I do not have a PowerPoint for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share some material that we use for the MBAC program. And so I'm going to share my screen right now so I can pull that up.
Awesome.
And can you see this? Can you see the brochure here?
We can see your desktop.
Yes. Okay, so can you see the map? There is a map here. Can you see that?
We cannot see that. We can just see the desktop. You might have to click. When you hit share screen, you can share different pages.
All right, let me go back out, and I clicked share all. So, okay, let me. Okay, now can you see it?
Yes, this looks great.
Okay, so this is our MBAC brochure that we have, and I just wanted to show you the map because this is really important. Because the MBAC program is a program that is covered throughout the state of Ohio. So we have different centers throughout the state. The burgundy part down here is the territory in which I manage. It's 17 counties in Southern Ohio. We also have the Akron territory, Columbus. We have Cleveland up here, Toledo, and then we have Youngstown over here. So as you see, the MBAC program covers all 88 counties in the state of Ohio, which is great because we provide services to small and underutilized minority and women-owned businesses. And within 2019, we at the state of Ohio spent about $305 million with minority-owned businesses, and this is what this chart here illustrates. And so we are very committed in working with minority-owned businesses and helping them to grow and to reach the next level. Some of the services that we offer through the Minority-Owned Business Assistance Centers throughout the state of Ohio our bonding program. So we have a financial arm to this program. So we have a bonding program. So if you're construction or if you're in real estate or anything that requires you to have a bond, we can assist you with that. We also have a loan program. So we have direct loan program. We have a collateral enhancement program, which is something that we really find that small business owners really like to utilize this program, because the state of Ohio will put up a certain percentage of monies for collateral for that small business owner. And so this is a very good program that we have. And especially if you are MBE certified, which is another service that we offer as far as our certifications, which I'll get into in just a minute. And then we also have our Ohio Capital Access program as well. That all falls under our loan and bonding program. And then we have our certifications. So our certifications consist of, we have the MBE, the EDGE, the VBE, and the Women's Business Certification. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen so I can bring up another screen that I have here for you all. And can you see this? This is our website.
Yes.
So I wanted to show everyone what our website looks like. And so on our website, you go to this, it's mbaccincy.com, and you'll be able to see all the different services that we offer. So with our business certifications, as I just mentioned, we have our Minority Business Enterprise certification. We have our Encouraging Diversity, Growth, and Equity certification, Veteran-Friendly Business Enterprise certification, and we just launched this October 2020, our Women Business Enterprise certification, which will not just be recognized in the state of Ohio, but it will be recognized in other states throughout the country. So that is they're in the process of working on that now. So these are the 4 certifications that we offer and that we can assist you with in attaining these with the state of Ohio. We also have our contracting opportunities. So on this site, we list different contract opportunities that we have that come to us from various resource partners throughout Greater Cincinnati. And we post these here for you, as well as send them out to our clients, as well as to our strategic partners as well. So we have contracting opportunities, and we also have an opportunity for you to become a vendor with the state of Ohio, which will provide you with information regarding opportunities, contracting opportunities that the state has, as well as any matchmaking events that the state is having. Then we have different resource services that we offer. Right now we're partnering with Google. Google has a career certificate program, so we were helping them to promote that program. That also went out to all of our clients and members that we have with Greater Cincinnati. So these are just some of the resources. If you go to our website, you'll see the various resources that are available. We have a satellite office at Ohio State University Endeavor Center in Pike County. So we work with the Appalachian community. We have a business advisor who is at that office, and her name is Marlene Fout, and she runs that office and works with a lot of the Appalachian business owners. So on our resource page, you'll see a lot of different resources and organizations that we partner with. I've already mentioned our Access to Capital program that we have. And as you can see, you can go to this site and see that as well. So these are some of the services that we offer with the Minority Business Assistance Center. We work with several strategic partners throughout Greater Cincinnati. And we also work with and are hosted at the African American Chamber of Commerce. So the African American Chamber of Commerce, and this is some people don't understand, so the Minority Business Assistance Center is a state-run program which is housed at the African American Chamber of Commerce. And so what we do is we work with them in collaboration on various programs. And so the African American Chamber has several programs as well that we work with together, and also they have programs of their own. And so they have business accelerator programs. So they have the Executive Business Accelerator, which will be starting up in February. They also have the Society Accelerator, and they also have a real estate accelerator program that they work with. They have a business acquisition programs, business basics, that covers the basics of getting started in a business. The MBAC program also has programs that we work with as far as helping businesses get started. So these are all the programs that the African American Chamber offers. And like I said, we do work in collaboration with the African American Chamber. Right now, we're not having the exchange. The exchange was something that we did once a month at a local business. And so because of COVID, we are not doing that at the moment. But as you can see, there are several programs that the African American Chamber offers. We have an emerging leaders program where we work with up and coming young professionals and helping to guide them through corporate America and providing them with the support that they need in order to be successful. We have an arts day, and we also have a We Do Good Day event where we work with other community organizations in providing school supplies for children. We just did a food bank drive with the food store bank. And so there are a lot of different activities that the African American Chamber provides for its members and the clients of MBAC. So those are just some of the things that we do with the African American Chamber and with the Minority Business Assistance Center. Let's see. So I'm going to stop sharing. And that just gives you an overview of what we do. I didn't go into any great detail about anything, but if you want to reach out to me, feel free to do so, and I'll be more than happy to go into greater detail of all the different services that we offer for underutilized and minority and women-owned businesses.
Absolutely, and we can include your contact information and the links to both of the websites when we send out a follow-up, because we're recording today's session for anyone that wasn't able to jump on. So we'll send out a follow-up to a link to our YouTube page, as well as the resources you all provide this evening. So it's great just to put a name to the face and when we're recommending people to you all. So thank you for giving a high-level overview for us, and people can follow up with you one-on-one.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And we'll just dive right into your presentation, Marvin, if you want to go ahead and share your screen.
All right. Let me know if you can see my screen there, the PowerPoint presentation.
Yes, it looks great. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, Brooke, thank you so much for the opportunity to present to the Uptown Council today. As Brooke mentioned, today we're going to spend just a few minutes, the next couple of minutes, talking about reinventing your business model in a digital world. So as you know, things are changing rather quickly in the world. COVID-19 has given us, as business owners, a shot across the bow, but it's really just a warning sign in terms of the massive and rapid changes that are going to take place in the marketplace, in the business landscape in the next decades to come. So as a business owner, as a small business owner, as a minority-owned business owner, it's important for you to understand these changes that are coming and start pivoting your business into a truly, what we call a truly 21st century business. And today I want to spend a little bit of time really explaining what does it mean to be, to do digital transformation. And unlike popular belief, it's not just about technology, right? So technology is the main thing, but it's not the only driver in terms of transforming your business. So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about that. So just a quick aside, so everybody knows a little bit more about me and who we are. So I'm the senior managing partner for a strategy and innovation consulting firm called Gilead Sanders. So we're an innovation and strategy firm helping companies, not-for-profit, and government agencies really simplify the digital transformation process. And like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about what exactly is digital transformation and why it's important for businesses to start really focusing on that in the 21st century. So we're really focusing on 4 key things. as an organization, when we help clients, we harness the power of technology, ignite human capital, deploy business innovation and creativity, and create unique customer experiences through digital platforms. That's what we help our clients achieve, and that's really the core of digital transformation. So, as mentioned, I am the Senior Managing Partner, and we work with a variety of organizations, from governmental agencies, from companies. We work both here in the US as well as in the Caribbean. So we travel, or we do virtual training and sessions for our clients. So there's just a spate of some of our clients that we work with throughout the US and in the Caribbean. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that are pushing us as business owners to really take a look at the future, or take a look at what is happening in the present in order to extrapolate from the future. So as a business futurist, my job working with clients is really help them think about the future in a very concrete and pragmatic way. So what we call the cone of certainty is we can extrapolate as to what we think the future is going to look like, plausible futures. But as these signals, what we call signals, start entering the cone of certainty, meaning once they reach a certain point, there is no turning back, that we're pretty sure that these trends are going to take place, we now can pretty much assure that these signals are telling us that this plausible future is going to happen. So, you know, if everyone here on the call has been living on planet Earth for the past year or two, you know, we've seen some trends, some disturbing trends that are really taking place worldwide. And if you haven't seen those, then you've been either really busy at your job, or you've been asleep. So things are really shaking up, and they are really creating headwinds for organizations. So we have social unrest, we have economic unrest, we have environmental disasters, we have a pandemic. So all these things tend to create elements that are very disturbing for businesses in general, big, large, or small, no matter segment, no matter the industry. And I'm sure you guys, if you're business owners, you're feeling this right now. So the question is, you know, you need to start paying attention to these kind of trends and saying, what if situations, what we call scenarios, what if situations, if these situations were to happen again or to continue, how would you handle that as a business owner? So what are some of the things that you need to be thinking about as a business owner in order to mitigate risk to your business? And I'm not just talking about insurance, I'm talking about business models, I'm talking about technologies that can help you deliver your service or your products to your customers regardless of what's going on. So how do you make your business future-proof? On top of all these major trends, and it's not just, you know, negative trends, there's also positive trends, like customers shifting in terms of how they get their products and services. So any kind of trends that you do see happening, how do you prepare to either take the opportunity or the risk? On top of these trends, we also have technological trends that are really converging very quickly, that are going to have major impact on businesses and organizations in the future. Whether we're talking about the Internet of Things, which is going to allow us to have smart homes, smart buildings, smart roads, where everything physical that you can think of in the world will be embedded with a microchip and be able to provide us data at the blink of an eye. Whether we're talking blockchain, which allows us to be able to make payments halfway across the world in a matter of seconds, or develop smart contracts, autonomous vehicles, flying taxis, and AR, AR and VR, virtual reality and augmented reality. All of these things are not things that are happening in the future 10 years out, but you know, probably within the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to start seeing the convergence and the commercializations of these types of technologies. So again, these are technologies and trends that as a business, you need to be aware of them, because as your customers start shifting to these kind of things on a commercial size or scale, how does it affect your business? How does it affect your supply chain? How does it affect how you deliver services to your clients? Are your clients going to go somewhere else? Or are they going to have different types of expectations because of these technologies? So you need to be thinking about the future in a very concrete way, and how these things might have an impact on your business. So the dialogue and the conversations internally in your business need to start happening now, right? So it's not when these things become highly commercialized and that the customers have begun to shift that you need to be thinking, oh my God, I need to, start thinking about artificial intelligence, or I need to be thinking about IoT, or my customers have shifted, how do I run after them? You want to be proactive and not reactive. Other types of convergence in terms of, technologies that are coming together very quickly, like I mentioned. Once we see these three types of technologies merge, meaning they become highly commercialized in our space, meaning social and professional lives. So we're looking at the Internet of Things, which you talked about, with the embeddedness of microchips and pretty much anything you can think of. Artificial intelligence, AI, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's not just Siri or Alexa, but we're talking high level of artificial intelligence inside our organizations, which are going to take over a lot of our automated or rote work that workers are doing, and AI is going to be able to do that quicker and faster as we commercialize it. And finally, robotics or automation. So once you have the conversions of these three, and I would also even add blockchain, of these four major technologies, you have a very, very different environment that you're going to be dealing with. It's going to be a highly volatile environment, very uncertain, very complex, and very ambiguous, meaning you're going to have to operate your business in a very different way, no matter your size, no matter your industry, no matter your segment, once these technologies begin to take hold and begin to take root. So you're going to need to be thinking about those things as they become commercialized, and as your customers shift, as your employees have different expectations as they come to work. How are these things going to impact your business? So if, like we mentioned about, this past year has been an eye-opening for businesses. So if nothing else, the pandemic, COVID-19, has been what we call in business futurist parlance, a super accelerator. So things that we expected to happen in the marketplace within the next 10 years are now shrunk to probably the next 3 to 4 years. So we've seen a lot of businesses having to shift in order to, and pivot in order to be able to continue with business continuity. So we've seen, markets, so we've seen commercial markets do curbside delivery. We've seen the return of drive-in movies in order to keep people safe and a distance. We've seen the rise of virtual telepresence or Zoom meetings like we're doing now. We're starting to see people using a lot more of their mobile phone in order to order food and so many other products. So all we're seeing is these trends are probably going to become embedded in the social psyche, in the social work, and the commercial space much more than pre-pandemic days. So people are going to continue to go down these trends. So you know that your customers are going to continue to expect to be able to receive services in a digital way. They're going to be expecting for things to happen anytime, anywhere. So they're expecting you to be a 24/7, 365, what we call the intelligent business or the intelligent organization. So COVID-19, as much of a risk it has been for your business, if you have survived or you're thinking about how to pivot, it's giving you an opportunity to really transform your business and you think about it in a truly 21st century organization. So the question you need to be asking yourself is, are you prepared for the disruption that's coming? Because disruption, what we're really talking about, is the transformation of business, of operating model for businesses from a 20th century business model to a truly 21st century business model. What do I mean by that? So if everybody recognizes this diagram, it's a basic, diagram for a business. Even today, we silo our businesses in different ways by departments, by titles, by areas of expertise, and by tasks. And this org chart, if you can believe it, is the org chart of a company that was started back in the 1920s, Pacific Railways. So, speed like to 2020, and we're still building our companies the same way. We still segment them by task, we segment them by title, we segment them by departments. And these organizations we have today are broken because we're using models that were designed for a different context and a different time. This is what's creating a situation for a lot of businesses today, is because we are now living in a different context, and the environment is now dynamic. It's no longer static, and it's changing, and it's volatile, and it's ambiguous. So the way we structure our businesses was built for a different time, and it's not capable of withstanding these kind of rapid changes that we're seeing in the marketplace. So the way we work and manage was invented for a different purpose and what we needed today. We invented the way we operate our business today. These business operating models were meant for the industrial revolutions, when things needed to be efficient, they needed to scale very rapidly, they needed to be optimized, planning was prioritized, stability was there, and standardization. Today, however, in the 21st century, we're asking for businesses to be agile, to innovate, to have speed to market, to be responsive, and creativity, drive innovation, and they need to be resilient, meaning prepared for anything that comes its way. So you can't be prepared for everything. You need to be prepared for anything that comes your way. So it requires a different operating model and a different structure, right? So we see that happening already since the past decade. We're starting to see major businesses that had traditional business models being disrupted by digital first business models. So businesses that are now really taking a 21st century business model approach and really creating value on the fly and using digital tools to really do it quickly and creating amazing customer experiences and employee experiences. So whether we're talking Netflix, Facebook, or the iPhone or Apple, we're seeing that they're switching things, they're inverting the pyramid to really focus on value proposition that are anytime, anywhere, and most of all, seamless and frictionless for customers. So you need to keep those things in mind, and no matter whether you're providing a service or a physical product, what you want to be thinking about is how can I provide that to my customers in a seamless way by really removing friction at the customer points of contact and every point in my business. And the technology is there to be able to do that. So how do organizations and companies like yourselves thrive in this fast-moving digital and technology-driven world? Well, the answer is digital transformation, or we can call it business transformation, or if these words are too technical for you, is just think, how do I make my business more efficient and more frictionless when it comes to my customers' needs and demands? Meaning, what kind of technologies can I use? What kind of innovation can I do inside and outside the business in order for me to be able to provide my services to my customers in a way that is seamless, just like the iPhone or just like Netflix, anytime we need it, right? So customers and businesses are going through transformation because customer expectations are changing, right? Digital transformation impacts every industry, every business, every segment. Don't think because you're a small business that you're not going to be affected. This is a tsunami of change coming in every aspect. Every business and every segment will be affected by digital transformation. And then, like I said, major technological change ahead as they become commercialized. will begin to start changing the very landscape of society. So artificial intelligence, IoT, cloud, analytics, mobile, blockchain, you name it, as they converge, our society as we know it is going to change. So in your business is going to change because of that. So as I mentioned earlier, our job here at Gilead Sanders is to help people really simplify the digital transformation process. So there's a simple equation that I let my clients use in order to know where do I start and where do I spend my time developing my digital transformation. There's a lot of moving parts to a business. Where do we know where we spend our time? For digital transformation, I say use the simple equation of TIP to M, TIP square M. And I'm going to show you what that means. But it's a simple way for you and your employees and your stakeholders to remember where to spend your time and where to focus in doing digital transformation. So we want to think about technology. We want to think about trends, which we just talked about. We want to think about innovation. How do we innovate? We want to think about insights. We want to think about people. We want to focus on platforms inside our company. And then finally, we want to focus on mindset. So how are these elements, or what we call the 7 pivot points, operating? So we want technology to accelerate our business because it's going to be driving our businesses in the 21st century. It's going to be the motor and the engine that drives organization. Strategy, we want to do our strategies based on trends. We want to focus on the future and make sure that our strategy, focuses on the upcoming trends or the trends that either provide opportunities or risk. We want to have innovation embedded in our organization as operational DNA. So innovation is not somebody, one person's job, is not your chief innovation's job, it's everybody's job. You want to have data. You want to make your decisions data-centric, and you want to focus on data in your business in order for you to make decisions. No more gut instincts, no more this is how things used to be, but what is the data telling us? You want to focus on the customer experience and the employee experience. Those are two sides of the same coin. If you have employees, they need to have the employee experience in order to drive the customer experience. And finally, you want to focus on ecosystem model, meaning how do you connect with other companies, other businesses in order to create an ecosystem that allows your customers to be able to get your services and your products quickly, no matter what platform they're on. And finally, you want culture. You want to focus on the culture of your business, creating a culture where you allow for more experimentation, allow failures, allow more for collaboration, and be okay with ambiguity and not having the answers. These are the things that drive digital transformation. So from a strategic map point of view, your strategy, you want to plan from the future. You want to start adopting, meaning you want to start thinking about the future, the trends and the technologies that are going to impact your business, and you want to start planning for that, and not just for the future, but from the future. You want to adopt new ways of working. You want to start thinking about innovation, like design thinking, objectives and key results. You want to think about systems thinking. You want to think about collaboration inside your organization and innovate as quickly as possible in order to delight your customers and your employees. You want your decisions to be data-centric. So what kind of data are you getting out of your business? Because that's what's going to drive your decisions. You want to make your employees the tip of the spear. Your employee experience is absolutely key in order to drive innovation and drive moonshots and the customer experience. You want the customer experience to be customized and to be top of mind. You want it to, that's the only thing that's going to separate you from the competitors because everything is getting commoditized. You want your business to be part of an ecosystem, and then finally cultivate the mindset built for change, meaning experimentation, collaboration, ambiguity, and data-driven. So in a nutshell, this is what your transformation journey is going to look like. It's a figure eight, it's a journey. It's never ending. Once you start, you iterate the process and you learn as you go, continuously refining the process and making it stronger, better, every single time. What have I learned? What can we do better? How can we delight our customers? How can we delight our employees? And how do we become better at being a 21st century organization? Where do you start? Don't start all at once. Don't try to scale throughout the whole business. Start with one project, one team. Set the level of ambition, meaning how big do you want this project to be inside the organization? It can be a small project. You want to measure the proof of value to the business, meaning anything that you choose to work on has a value to the business and you can see the value proposition. And then once you see the results, then you want to scale throughout the business. You don't want to start with a big bang, but really just baby step by baby step, so you iterate and become better and better at it over time. And remember that this is a way of thinking and it's a journey, not a destination, right? You don't just get to digital transformation and that's it, you're done, you've gotten there. No, you want to take your time. You're going to make mistakes. There's going to be failures. It's okay with that. You start the process all over again. And as you take baby steps with small projects, as you get more comfortable, you scale to bigger projects and eventually scale throughout the whole organization. But you want to make sure that you understand how it works. There's plenty of resources out there to help you understand what digital transformation is all about. But give yourself some slack, cut yourself some slack, make sure you understand that this is a journey and not a destination. So you want to survive the future by making sure that, you understand what it is that you're trying to do, but it's an imperative in today's business environment. So we provide webinars every month on different topics that we just talked about, whether it's using data or how you customize, the customer experience at scale, or how do you, deal with strategy from the future, planning from the future. So we do all of these things. So if you'd like to join us for our free webinars, you can contact us. I'm sure Brooke will make this available to you. And just shoot us an email and we'll put you on the list and you'll get information of our webinars so that you can continue your journey and understanding about digital transformation. All right. So I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to present to you today on digital transformation. We believe that this is a time where every business needs to focus on that, understand what it means, and really spend the time in starting that journey. So if you have any questions for us or for me, we're more than happy to answer them. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Marvin. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That information is so valuable and I appreciate you providing the PowerPoint presentation for us to send out to everyone in case they would like to share with other members of their small business, whether that is a nonprofit, a service that they are providing, or a restaurant. So we have a variety of businesses on the call today, as well as community and business leaders in the Uptown neighborhoods. Thank you all for joining. We have a few questions that were submitted prior, and we've distilled them down just a little bit to be able to ask you all. And if anybody has any additional questions, we'll be wrapping up around 5:45, but you can put them in the chat. So let me dive into some of the ones that we have. And some of these things you may have talked a little bit about in your presentation, but a quick answer will work just fine. So Deborah, one of the questions we had submitted that I felt fell in your line of work was highlighting the specific services for startups and entrepreneurs that you offer through the African American Chamber and the Minority Business Assistance Center. So those, the nonprofit that submitted the question is looking at increasing the number of startups and entrepreneurs in their community. So they're looking to see what programs might be available.
Okay, great. Thank you for that question. So as I stated when I was going through the websites that we have, the Chamber website and the MBAC website, we have several programs that work with startups and entrepreneurs. That is the intention of the Minority Business Assistance Program, is to work with startups and entrepreneurs. So that's the basis of who we are and what we do. So we have the Greater Cincinnati Executive Business Accelerator, which will be starting up next month. That is a program that the African American Chamber has every year. We are in our third cohort with that. It is a curriculum that the African American Chamber has purchased from Interrise. Interrise is a nonprofit organization in Boston, Massachusetts, and they developed this curriculum to work with minority-owned businesses to help them to scale their business and to continue to grow their business. So that is one of the things that we do. I am the facilitator of the Executive Business Accelerator for the African American Chamber. The Chamber also has a real estate development accelerator that works with startups or entrepreneurs who are interested in getting into real estate development. And then we also have several webinars that the MBAC program puts on. We just finished yesterday our Grow Your Business Boot Camp. We had a 2-day boot camp that was powered by, excuse me, it was sponsored by the Minority Business Assistance Center, and it was powered by Influ. Influ is a minority-owned business in Cincinnati that has automated the social media process. The owner of that is Joshua Reed, and he created the platform in which to do that. So we had a 2-day boot camp. Next week, we're having a craft your pitch deck, how to craft and engage an engaging startup and pitch slide deck. That'll be next week. And then we've had like 11 since COVID-19. We had to pivot like everyone else. So we weren't able to have workshops on site. So we had 11 webinars between September and I think it was June. So we had WordPress 101, SEO training 101, setting up your SSL certificate. These are all workshops or webinars that we had to help small business owners and startup businesses to pivot during because of COVID-19. So we looked at Instagram branding, creating your marketing materials with Canva, learning how to edit with Premiere Pro, and how to automate your scheduling as well as virtual tours. Excuse me, because we had people in our as clients who were in the real estate industry, and so they were no longer able to have on-site tours of real estate properties. They had to pivot to virtual tours. So we had a webinar teaching people how to do just that. And then we also had We Mean Business 2020 virtual conference. And this was again focused on small businesses, helping them to pivot. We had everything from, we had CPAs talking about why you need a CPA and not just relying on, God, I can't remember what's the site, but not just relying on different apps to house your financial information. And so we looked at the wealth gap that impacts small businesses and why small businesses have a very difficult time in obtaining capital. So those are some of the things that we had since COVID hit in March, and those are some of the things that we had prior to COVID, but only on site. So we have a lot of different programs that are geared towards startups and entrepreneurs. Like I said, that is the basis of our programming. And so that is what we do. That's our focus.
And the best way, I know I'm signed up to get the African American Chamber of Commerce emails, but we got a question in our chat. What is the best way to find out about the workshops going on besides getting onto your website? Is there like a notification that goes out via email? We just had someone submit a question.
Yes, if you go to our website and on the home page, if you slide down, scroll all the way down, and it says apply now, if you fill out that application online, you'll be a part of our database, and so that anytime something goes out, you will be included in that notification.
Great, thank you. We just had a question come in on that. And then Marvin, another question that we had submitted that I wanted to give you an opportunity to answer based off of your work and the presentations that I'm sure you've been giving to other groups across Cincinnati and, like you said, beyond. What is the biggest challenge that you've seen in the digital transformation facing Black companies during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, it's not just Black companies, it's just any company. Digital transformation, I think people make the mistake of thinking that it's just about technology, right? So just applying, the latest and newest technology to the same process or the same structure that you've always had. Digital transformation is all about not just technology, like I said, like I just mentioned, but it's all about those things, new ways of working, using data. It's about focusing. Digital transformation begins and ends with the customer experience, which is very different from customer satisfaction, right? So we need to think about our businesses very differently. We need to think about ecosystems, not just silos and standalone businesses. And then we need to be thinking about having a very different mindset, right? So when you talk about agile teams, these teams are autonomous. They have their objectives, and allowing them to manage their objectives without interference from a manager that tells them what their task needs to be, right? So that's a very different mindset in terms of running a business, right? So it's very different, and it might be a little foreign or a little uncomfortable for most people when you first start. That's why I say start small. Start with baby steps, start with one area. And even you as a CEO or a manager or director, you have to get comfortable with this new way of doing things. So digital transformation is 180 in terms of how we run our businesses. So it's uncomfortable for a lot of businesses, but if you don't do it, think of the alternative, right? The competition is already doing it. The market is shifting, your customers are shifting. And then when you get situations like COVID-19, you're not prepared for it, right? Because if you had been thinking from a 21st century, maybe you would have had to pivot, but you would have been able to pivot quicker. And then your employees would have also been right there with you, innovating to pivot and change to the environment very quickly. So it's just really changing your mindset and thinking and acting differently in terms of how you run your business.
Thank you. And then we had two more questions I wanted to squeeze in here. I know we're at our time. Deborah, one nonprofit that registered today, and this might be even an offline conversation that could extend further, but had asked if they were to create an LLC, would that help them sustain their nonprofit? So they're running a nonprofit in one of the Uptown neighborhoods, and they're wondering if creating an LLC would help them kind of sustain their work in that arena.
Okay, so I think you're talking about a social enterprise business. So for nonprofits acquire money through fundraising efforts, where social enterprises operate like a for-profit business, okay? So by selling a product or service to the public or acquire funds through sales. So when nonprofits operate with almost absolute social return on investment, such as putting almost all of their revenue towards its mission statement. Whereas with a social enterprise, you have traditionally, it operates with a blended return on investment. So you have a mix of social, enterprise, social impact, and then financial return on your investment. So when you have a social enterprise, what that can do for your nonprofit is provide the revenue that you need to go towards a social cause that your nonprofit is working on. And so, and that can financially support the nonprofit. So if that's what you're asking, if you're asking if you should create a separate entity, such as a social enterprise LLC, to help financially support your nonprofit, then I would say the answer to your question is yes, it will help your nonprofit. And there are several organizations, nonprofits that do that. I can't remember the name, but several years ago, there was a nonprofit that started a recycling business. And they hired people who were in transition or maybe that were homeless to help work in the recycling business. And the money, the revenue that was generated from the recycling business helped to fund the social causes in their nonprofit, which worked with helping to provide housing for homeless individuals. So that's just an example. But yeah, social enterprise has been around for a very long time, but that, in answer to your question, yes. If you form a LLC as a social enterprise business, it will help provide revenue for your nonprofit.
Thank you. And I believe that person, I see them still on tonight. So hopefully they were able to get an answer for their question. To wrap us up tonight, I do want to ask one more question to Marvin, and it kind of incorporates a question that's been put in the Q&A, but one question submitted was around how businesses can effectively push their services into the community during the digital transformation. And one of the add-ons to that is in the Q&A, we had someone ask, how do you measure your journey? I know you kind of spoke to that a little bit.
Yeah. So, listen, digital transformation is just like any other kind of transformation. You start with a vision, right? So how do you want your business to operate in that kind of environment? So I mentioned earlier, if you have a scenario where if you had to deal with the constraints of COVID-19 or any other situation where you weren't able to continue to provide your services or your products the same way you did today. If I asked you to pull out a blank sheet of paper and redo your business model around that kind of constraint, what would you do, right? How would you build that business model to say, what kind of technologies would I use? How could I service my clients? Maybe I add some auxiliary services on top of my core services that I never thought of before. Maybe I go after an emerging market that I never thought of before because this constraint is forcing me to think very differently, right? So when you think about your business, you want to think about how you want to be able to give your services or your products to your customers or to your consumers in a frictionless way, meaning if there's digital technology that can help you provide either information, access to services, access to products 24/7, 365, anywhere, anytime that the customer is, you want to start thinking that, right? And then finally, how do you measure is what is the ultimate goal for you in terms of serving your clients? You still have your data, you still have your data points that you want. How many customers are you serving? How satisfied are you? What kind of experience? So create the metrics the same way that you do, but you do it through digital means. So the customer behavior, if you're using your website, what's the traffic on the website? What's the conversion of the website? How many people are doing exactly what you're asking them to do? How many people are signing up for, anything that you're saying, whether it's, if you're restaurants, people can download recipes, how you want to set up customer journey points that people are actually interacting with you, that you can say, okay, what I'm doing is actually working, or pivot very quickly if it's not. So you just want to create a vision. You want to create, how do I measure that what I'm doing makes sense, whether it's through the technology or the customer experience. And then you want to make sure that you can serve your customers no matter what constraints that you're dealing with. It doesn't matter what the constraint is, as long as you're ready to pivot and serve that customer.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Marvin and Deborah, for joining us this evening and for presenting on the resources and programs you offer, as well as your industry expertise, Marvin. That was so helpful and I think really interesting, whether you're a business or somebody looking at the future or helping businesses in your neighborhood or your nonprofit, etc. So I really appreciate you guys getting on here tonight and educating our Uptown community further. And thank you to everyone that got on tonight and joined. We are recording this session and we will be posting it to our YouTube page. So we will send the link out as well as some of the resources provided by Deborah and Marvin in an email soon. Thank you everybody for joining, and I hope you have a great holiday season.
Thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Yes, absolutely. Bye.
Bye-bye.